Hello learners, bonjour aux apprenants and welcome to Learn French with Likiza. Today we will be looking at the French sentence structure and word order, which is very beneficial to anyone who is starting to learn French from scratch. The French basic sentence structure will always entail a subject, a verb and an object. And one important thing to note is that the subject is very rarely left out. The verb, on the other hand, is always conjugated depending on the subject, the tense, and the mood. There are two types of the French basic sentence structure. We have the sentence verb object structure and the sentence verb sentence structure. And if you haven't yet, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel before I continue. Subject-verb sentences normally use intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs are the ones which indicate being or motion. In simpler terms, they do not need an object to make sense. For example, je suis tombé. I fell. In this case, je is the subject and suis tombé is the verb. For those who are getting a little bit confused, suis tombé is actually the past tense of tomber, which means to fall. So suis in this case is the auxiliary verb and tomber is the past participle of tomber, the verb itself. And I will get to past tense as a full lesson at a later date, so watch out for that. Another example is ils courent, they run. And you can see that these two sentence examples still make sense, still convey the message even without the object. Je suis tombé, I fell. Ils courent, they run. Subject, verb, object sentences use transitive verbs. And transitive verbs cannot make sense without an object. They must have an object. For example, il a une voiture. He has a car. Il, in this case, is the subject, a is the verb, and une voiture, the object. Now, I know you see something funny here. I've talked about subject, verb, object sentences. So you expect the sentence to only have 3 words. But in this case, you can see 4 words. In French, a noun must always be accompanied by an article. So even if a sentence is of the subject, verb, object structure, it can actually have 4 words in it, like il a une voiture, because of the article that must accompany voiture. Now that we have understood how to form a sentence in French, let us now look at the types of sentences that we have. We have statements, commands, exclamations, questions, and negative sentences. Statements are pretty straightforward. Their work is to give information, and they normally use the subject-verb-object structure. Sometimes they can also use the subject-verb structure. For example, j'ai visité la France. I visited France. Or, nous regardons les nouvelles. We watch the news. Or we are watching the news. Exclamations, on the other hand, convey an emotion, and they normally use an exclamation. They normally include an exclamation mark for emphasis. For example, quelle belle maison, what a beautiful house, and you get the wow feeling in this sentence. Or comme c'est courageux, how brave, and you get the feeling of admiration here. Commands can otherwise be known as l'impératif. And I did a lesson on that in 2 parts, which you can refer back to here after watching this video. Negative sentences, on the other hand, are a topic by themselves. And I also did that in 2 parts. And you can also refer back to this lesson here after watching this video. And finally, questions is a topic that I'm going to cover in the next video. So look out for that. Moving on, where do you place pronouns in French sentences? Now this is something that is usually a bit confusing for French learners, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible for you. Let's first define a direct object. A direct object is one which the sentence cannot function without. And I gave a previous example of a subject-verb-object sentence. Il a une voiture. He has a car. Une voiture is the direct object. Now let us look at a different dimension to this sentence. J'ai apporté une voiture à Adrien. I brought a car to Adrian. Now, if you want to replace these things that I'm mentioning with pronouns, and that is une voiture and Adrien, you will say, je la lui ai apporté. I brought it to him. Lui, which means to him, is the indirect object pronoun, while la, which means it, is the direct object pronoun. Now the sentence can function without lui, to him. It can still make sense. So you can say, je l'ai apporté. I brought it, and it being the car. But if you say, je lui ai apporté, I brought to him, the question still remains, what did you bring? So the sentence does not make sense when it has the indirect object pronoun. There's still a question. Object pronouns normally come before the verb. And to be more specific, direct object pronouns, which are lo, la, le, come before indirect object pronouns, which are lui and lor. And I hope this explanation makes it easier for you to understand French sentence structure and word order with pronouns. And that is all for today. I know you had chicken in the background throughout the video. My neighbor keeps chicken, and when I'm recording my videos, my window is normally open. But if you enjoyed the lesson, please hit the like button, leave a comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can also ring the notification bell so that you are always notified of new videos as soon as I upload them. There are 2 ways that you can support my work. You can either become a patron to support and to also unlock exclusive posts that you will not find elsewhere on my teaching platforms to continue further with your French learning, or you can buy me a coffee. I am on Instagram at Learn French with Likiza. All the relevant links are in the description box, including the videos that are related to this video. A bientôt!